people, why is it that the white media always rely upon these Negroes who's trying to basically get us to vote so that we don't go and talk about real power in the black community? They always want you to go out and vote. We're not participating in the presidential selection unless there's some tangibles to it. The presidential selection is not helping us. Nobody is talking about our reparations. Nobody is talking about our tangibles. Joe Biden's Lift Every Voice has collaborated with artists like Ludacris, Monica, and Jermaine Dupri for his Voice Our Voice vote ad campaign, trying to get black people to vote. And one thing that I don't agree with Trump on a lot of stuff, but one thing that I agree with him on is that when Joe Biden have rallies, nobody shows up. But come on, fam, we got to stop this allowing people to dictate where we're going to do for our economic system and our upliftment. Why do people? This is the only white people only do this to black folks. They only want black folks to participate in voting, while everybody else is talking about power. Everybody else is talking about economics in their communities. But they want to come in here and talk about, well, let's go out and vote. No. They don't have nothing tangible on the table for us. LeBron James, the same way. He out here talking about last month or so, oh, I'm scared, and I'm scared of the police, and I'm scared. That's what they want you to be, is they want you to be scared, Negro. They want you to be scared. The police and everybody wants you to be scared. And they up there talking about now in Seattle, in year 2020, that was in Seattle, Washington, there was at least 118 officers, they said, that had left the police department in Seattle. And so therefore, now the police is not wanting to be police no more. It's because we basically are saying, no, you're not going to keep on killing us. Well, I'm going to turn in my badge if I can't kill no niggers. You see? So we got to understand something about what's going on in the society. And tomorrow we'll talk about this Supreme Court nomination with Amy Barrett Coney Barrett. We're going to talk about her, and she wept just because she saw George Floyd's death, and her black kids embracing. Man, see, look at this. We're making the same mistakes our parents made. We're making the same mistakes that the older civil rights generation had made. We got to understand something. That these civil rights generations, they're not going to basically show us the way. That's the reason why we gave them their walking papers. And you got old fat butterball biscuit roly-poly Martin out here. He's trying to advertise to get some kind of pat on the back from white society and the white media. He needs to set his fat ass down somewhere and shut up. And these scared Negroes who invest in his YouTube channel, the reason why they're investing into Rolling Poly's YouTube channel is because these are people who are scared, who also want some type of job working for the white media. But you have to listen to the black media because we bring you the evidence. We bring you all the truth about what's going on and why these people don't want to give us our reparations. And so we'll get into it with Ice Cube and his contract with Black America, and basically D.L. Hughley, as you heard earlier, he criticized an Ice Cube. Oh, we'll get into that in a minute. We'll get into the fact that Steve Harvey also met with Trump, and D.L. Hughley said nothing about that. Yeah, they were. Oh, yeah, D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey. Two of your kings of comedy, black men who's supposed to basically be about empowerment, black folks, and talk all this stuff about what we need in the black community, but y'all been paid by white dollars, while the rest of us have to scrape up money to go to your comedy shows. Let's talk about it tonight on the Lawyer Henderson Show. 516-418-5867. 516-418-5867. We'll take your calls in just a moment if you want to call in tonight. But I put out that conversation about Facebook banning me. And Facebook constantly knew that I was growing in an audience. And so they banned me there. And so I had to go to ScrewTube. And I already know that ScrewTube is going to unsubscribe people. They're not going to give you your notifications when I come on. We have to start calling out these bought and paid for Negroes who've been out here carrying water for white power. And that's just the bottom line. What else is going on in the news? We're going to talk about Amy Barrett tomorrow. She's basically is one of Trump's Supreme Court nominations. And we're going to get into that whole deal about these people, these judges on the Supreme Court, these judges on the Circuit Court, these judges on all of, that we're elected in office, and who is the president and the Senate and the House of Representatives. They are putting white supremacist judges on the benches, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about the fact that Amy Barrett is trying to use her kids, her two black kids from Haiti. Talking about she felt pain and she wept when she saw the murder of George Floyd. Adopting black kids is not enough to show whether or not you're still a racist when you go and you sit on that bench. Oh, we're going to just tear a new asshole into that conversation tomorrow. You see, we got a lot of people out here who is trying to basically get into the White House. They want some type of job from white society, and they try to appear on Roly Poly Martin's show. Everybody is trying to get a job from white society. They don't want to tell real black media no more. They want this job from white society. They want to be able to get patent their patent on the backs. Oh, good job now. Good job, Negro. Nobody wants us to talk about the truth about our conditions in the black community, our tangibles. And that's the reason why the black media was formed. Folks, we got to stop being scared of white supremacy. We got to stop being afraid to talk about things that's going on in the community. As Amos Wilson taught us, Amos Wilson said, you got to let the white man know how you feel. That's the reason why they don't like me, because I let the white man know how I feel. But we have a lot of black folks, a lot of black celebrities, because see, the civil rights generation, they were not basically on task. They were not really doing nothing for us. We saw right through them as we got older, and now we pushed them to the side. And so now they're using rappers, they're using black celebrities, they're using these Negroes to try to then basically remove us away from our demand for our reparations and our tangibles. And so therefore they're upset because we are on code. We have enough black folks on code. And they do not like that. They cannot stand when black people are on code. We're demanding a specific thing this time in exchange for our vote, and everybody's upset. And we don't need roly poly, fat, lard, big, wobbly ass. We don't need him to come out here trying to divide and trying to misrepresent what Ice Cube said, along with DL Foley. Now, DL Foley, come on. If we have somebody who is meeting with the Trump administration that is black and they're talking about our information, who cares? Okay, as long as they're talking policy, doesn't matter what educational background. And we'll get to that in just a moment. We're going to have that extensive conversation here tonight. Somebody talk black to me. Okay. So what else I'll leave out about what's going on in today in the news? Indiana police recruit fired for ties to the neo-Nazi. You see that? That was one of the headlines in the news. They fired a police officer in Indiana because he basically was a part of the neo-Nazis. You see what we're talking about? We have white supremacists basically in the police department. White supremacists working in the court system as district attorneys, white supremacists as police officers, white supremacists as judges. What's that song? Oh, racist ass judge. He decides who gets sentenced. That song came out recently. Oh, racist ass judge. He decides who gets sentenced. We got a lot of racist people who is controlling and running the issue. And folks, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about the ideal of what's going on in the black community. Hold your phone calls. We'll get to them in just a moment, fam. Hold your phone calls here. We'll get to them in just a moment. But I want to understand something about this. Let's get on into the conversation. D.L. Hugley come out and he's right. We do need our our more educated people. Remember, I talked about Ice Cube contract with Black America 3 weeks ago. And remember, Cube did have some few flaws in there that what the grassroots was talking about. The grassroots wanted us to stop these broad and ambiguous terms like minorities, people of color, disadvantaged neighborhoods, and stuff like that. And he met with Antonio Moore. He met with, he came on, I think it was the Breakfast Club. He also met with CNN. And, white people think that just because our parents been on the Democrats plantation so long that we're supposed to get permission to go out here and support people in politics. You see, they made it for everybody else. Everybody else can sit up here and they can basically say, hey, we want you to come and speak with us as Jewish people. We want y'all to come and meet with us as Hispanics. Hispanics do not go on neither party's side. They look and see who is going to be the beneficial person, and that's how they vote. But somehow, black folks, we got to always vote Democrats no matter what. And any time that we go and meet with the opposition, it's a problem. No, we're not playing that game no more. And D.L. Hughley said nothing when Steve Harvey, his friend, went out there and met with the Trump campaign. And Ice Cube said it over and over and over and over and over again. He was not playing politics with none of these people. He came to the grassroots. He came to us, and we got him to understand. That's the reason why from 3 weeks before I did the contract with Ice Cube, everybody was talking about Breonna Taylor's case. I'm the one that had a YouTube video, go look it up, 3 weeks ago, talking about his contract with Black America, in which at first he was talking about minorities. He had some language about Jewish people. He has language about neighborhoods. He had some of these broad and ambiguous terms that Dr. Claude Anderson taught us to look out for. He had that in his language. But then Cube came back and he said, I understand what y'all are talking about. And he changed and he ameliorated his contract with Black America. And he went on CNN and said, listen, we're not going to talk about no minorities. I'm not here to talk about people of color. See, that's their way to remove and circumvent around Black issues. This benign and neglect policy that was done with the Richard Nixon administration in the 1970s. We can go back and slate to until the time into which we supposedly had an agenda, but everything got basically turned around because our parents did not stick to the gun. They allowed the white folks back in that day to maneuver them into dealing with talking about other stuff and then trying to get interracial access, but not talking about what we need as far as the Black community and as far as our economic system. Somebody help this to make sense to me. We got to stop this criticism of those Black people who are actually meeting with anybody. Why is it that we're the only person to have to just vote Democrat? That's foolish. The Democrats have set on their tail. Joe Biden has told you that when he get into office, he's going to talk about transsexual bathrooms. Joe Biden has been the one, along with Kamala Harris, who have basically gave $13 billion that he set aside for states, and when they wanted money for to get a piece of that billions of dollars, what happened? Joe Biden said, no, you got to make sure that you change your state policies on prison and put some Black folks in jail, and we'll help you to get your money there out of the $3 to $13 billion or whatever it was. And that's what Joe Biden did. And Kamala Harris, well, when she was a district attorney for San Francisco or the attorney general, what have you, she basically was laughing while she knew that people who came before her basically were innocent, using innocent people to help to fight fires when they're supposed to be released, locking up Black women because of truancy, despite the fact that their daughters and sons had special needs, but she felt the need to basically to make sure they went to jail. These people are not about Black people at all. Okay? So yeah, you can talk about Trump discriminating against you or his father discriminating against the housing project. Fine. You can talk about Trump sitting around went out what the and said that the what are those Central Park Five guys that he said should get the death penalty? Yeah, you can talk about that. Him taking out that large ad. But we can also talk about Joe Biden, who actually was in the Senate or the House of Representatives or wherever he was, but he was passing laws and legislation and making sure that Black folks got in jail. And basically, his own son, Hunter Biden, had a drug problem. His daughter had a drug problem, for what I understand, and he didn't put them in jail. They should have went to jail for all of the drugs, the crack cocaine, or the methamphetamine, and all these other white drugs the white people have. There's no laws that Joe Biden put on the books for them. So we got to understand, family, stop this foolishness and this craziness about us having just to stick with the Democratic Party. No. And we're not saying that the Republicans are better. What we're saying is that we got to get away from the Democrats' plantation. The Democrats have shown that they're not going to do anything for us. And they're telling Ice Cube, wait to after the election. Wait till after the election, and then we'll see what we can do. No, that's not a promise. And Ice Cube has said it. He did not meet with Trump. He met with people inside the organization. That's who he met with. He did not meet with. He met with campaign people, people inside his. No, well, not his campaign, but he met with people within the administration of the Trump administration. He did not meet with Trump himself. So D.L. Hughley talks about the ideal. D.L. Hughley talks about the fact that, okay, we can talk about how D.L. Hughley can say that we need people who are experienced, who are experts. Dr. Claude Anderson is one of those people we should basically be talking to or have at the table. I'm fine with that. There's no problem with that. Okay. But to call the man out and say, hey, this is the guy who made some Friday movies. So what? He's a good negotiator. He worked with all of these white Jewish people who basically was signing him deals not only in music but in movies. He is an expert. What are you talking about? D.L. Hughley, what are you talking about? He negotiated contracts. And then at the time the NWA split up, Ice Cube was the only one. Despite the fact I didn't like him just in my boy Easy E, but at the same time he had a point. He basically he knew that Jerry Heller was stealing money from the group. He knew that Jerry Heller was stealing money from the group, man. So he basically had the evidence and he knew how to negotiate and go to the table to get the best deal. And D.L. Hughley, you really didn't have a lot of negotiating power that it looks like, even though you had your TV shows and your stand-up comedy shows. But the fact is that Ice Cube came back to the grassroots and he asked us, well, what do y'all want me to present? I'm willing to work with everybody. And then we have these feminists coming out here talking about, oh, he left women out, and he basically didn't want to basically work with women. You see, but there's no black woman out there wanting. There's a few of them, but they didn't have no plan to present so that he can put that on the table. Now you got Sergeant Darcy out there talking about, well, as it relates to police reform, she worked in the police reform situation. She already told us that these police chiefs and all these other people are going to do what they're going to do. Okay, so basically, if you're telling us that, then why meet with you if you're saying that the police are not going to want to change or reform? Okay, that's going to bring us back into the streets. That's what's going to keep us at the district attorney office. I'm just saying, okay, something have to give here. These crooked cops are killing us with impunity, and something is going to have to. I mean, I'm just letting you know, something have to give. So D.L. Hughley decided he wants to criticize Ice Cube. Let's go ahead and hear what else he's saying. Mm, mm, That, okay. All right. So he's right about that. I'll give him that. He's right. Who has to pass that bill? Okay. In that regard, you do have to have the House and the Senate, but the president is supposed to make those promises to us, and basically we elect him because they go out and they make these promises. But what D.L. Hughley is wrong about is that these people, all the president, also do executive orders. He did an executive orders to save with DACA. So there's something, those some things that he can do for black folks, like he did for other people, even without the Congress and without the Senate. So D.L. Hughley, not necessarily. And this talk about, oh, well, they don't have power right now. So what? They're running a campaign in which they come out and they say that this is what we'll do for you if we get elected. And you then specify what you can do as far as using your executive privilege or executive power versus what you can do by passing something in the House or the Senate. That's what they then go and tell everybody. And it seems like, and this is the problem with D.L. Hughley, he is a part of that old minded, I'm just going to support the Democrats regardless. He got that mentality because he still think that a lot of people are out here supporting Joe Biden and other people. No, we're not. No, we're not. The number to call in is 516-418-5867. 516-418-5867. Ladies and gentlemen, now you can call in if you would like. Call in if you like. We now want you to call in. I want to speak with people about this issue. Call in now. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, stop. We're going to stop right there. See, D.L. Hughley. The problem with D.L. Hughley is that he does not have. He's not getting a lot of. Uh, he's not getting a lot of money coming in as far as doing these comedy shows. He's not getting a lot of. Um, you're not. You can't set up a show right now, a comedy show right now. So D.L. Hughley is now wanting to try to every. This is what the celebrities are doing now. No, Hollywood is shut down. Okay, Hollywood is shut down, and so the grassroots is saying, well, this time we want something in exchange for our vote, and all of these celebrities, and specifically the rappers, are taking over and trying to basically turn this particular conversation into, well, let me advocate this, let me advocate that. Okay, we had Puff Diddy out there, we had Ti, we had Killer Mike, and you got Cube. Okay, but out of those four men, Ice Cube is the only one, besides with the exception of T.I. to a certain degree, was the only one who went to the grassroots and said, what y'all want me to do when we go and meet with these people? To say that Ice Cube, just because he's a rapper and an actor, that he does not have a seat at the table is preposterous. He is a negotiator of businesses, and he made it clear that he also wants us to have ownership of our movies and music. That is important too, because as Dr. Umar Johnson points out, is that let's say that we start owning the catalogs to our movies and the catalogs, I'm sorry, to our music and the ownership of our films. We can enrich ourselves as Black people as well. So D.L. Hughley is wrong in that regard. You see, Ice Cube basically sat down with the masses and he talked with Antonio Moore, and who has a great platform. Regardless of what Antonio Moore says, which some of the stuff I disagree with, yes, but he talked to people on the grassroots level. And he explained in all of his conversations that he had that he was not a supporter of Trump's. But as Marcus Garvey taught us, you got to meet with your enemies as well. The Democrats has not been able to do anything for us, and they will never ever do anything for us because they are also a part of the benign and neglect policy. We did our commentary on the Democrats during the story of Wilmington. Remember, it was them back in the 1870s that chased Black people out of the town. The Democrats are the one who started the KKK. People, come on. We cannot be married to the Democratic parties no more. We have to look at both parties to see who is coming with a great agenda. If the Democrats are coming with the agenda, we go Democrat. If the Republicans are coming with a good agenda, we vote Republicans. That's how every other race and group does it. While D.L. Hughley was right about we needing experts also, because Ice Cube did sit down with certain experts. And as I talked about 3 weeks ago, remember I said that I think certain types of Jewish people basically helped him with this as well, because he had in his banking form, and we're going to get to his contract with Black America here in a minute. But he had in that specifically about, well, why, something to the effect as to why Blacks and Jews had struggles, certain such and such, blah blah blah. No. Mm-mm. But he basically changed that when he went to talk to Chris Cuomo, and he talked about he is not really wanting to put um, minorities, people of color, and all of that out of the conversation now. So he, like I said, ameliorated his contract with Black America. Okay. And so the experts that D.L. Hughley is talking about are the experts that discusses a Dr. Claude Anderson, discusses a person who will talk about what we are owed. Okay. I think it was Randolph Randall. I hope that's his name. I'm getting his name right. Who talks about the debt that we're owed. And at that time, we were owed $12 trillion in reparations payment. Okay. So we have family reparations on the table, and it has always been that. Well, let's go ahead and dissect some more stuff here. Okay. 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 DL. Okay. See, DL is DL said all of this to make some headlines, man. He said this because at the time that he basically is not working right now, like a lot of black folks are not working in Hollywood, they try to come over and take control of the narrative. We have an issue here in the black community where Ice Cube is the only celebrity that is basically telling what we want. You don't see DL Hughley meeting with Joe Biden and basically saying that this is what the black community want. But yet he goes and wants to do a show so that he can basically get some advertisers for his show and so that he can get people to come in and basically say, oh yeah, you're right, DL, you're right. And he's up here talking about the Proud Boys. Here talking about other white supremacists scaring black people away from the polls. No. If black folks really want to go and vote, you think that we're going to basically be scared of some white supremacists, especially black men? Come on. The white supremacists are cowards. They only target people who basically are unarmed. They target the most vulnerable people. They target old people. In order to then get, they target women, black women. They target people who are, like that white supremacists in Dallas, Texas. I did a story about not too long ago, last year or so, when he was punching that black woman out there. What's his name? The white dude who did that was Shutterfield. What's his name? I think it's Justin Shutterfield or something like that. But yeah, but these guys, they target the vulnerable, the weak, the basically the unprotected. That's what they target. If black people want to really show up and vote, you know that we'll have a lot of people coming out there to basically make sure that, ain't no white supremacists are going to do anything. Man, we'll have the we don't even need the no effing around organizations or the new Black Panther Party or the Nation of Islam. We don't need none of them to go out there if we had a lot of black men out there at the polls. The white supremacists won't show up. They don't show up when black men when we come as a group to run and chase them out of town. And the KKK is not really an organization that we basically is worried about. These people have went on to other white supremacist organizations. These folks were around when Malcolm X's father was around. KKK now is your judges and your DAs and some of your police officers who basically has joined the white supremacist organizations, like what DL is talking about. KKK is done with. You dig? So what we have here is an issue, fam, as to why people want to control black people's everyday movement. They want to control our everyday movement. That's the reason why you got a lot of white people who are concerned about what black people do on a daily basis. It is always important. Remember, Dr. Umar Johnson and others talked about the ideal that the black male child have to basically, even Amos Wilson taught us, the black male child has to always get special attention. Why? It's because it is not the black female child, but it is the black male child who, of course, is going to grow up as far as objecting to domination. You understand? Whereas black women are just going to follow the power structure. Some of them are on code. Yes, we have enough of them now who are saying, okay, well, we do have to get something in return on our vote, and they came on a team with black men. But then you have those one like Joy Reid. You got a lot of these people out here who basically they're on team white supremacy. They're the voices for the white media. They put a black face on white power, whether or not it is a voice for the white media to say certain things that basically would talk about black or black violence. I did a story on white violence. And of course, the FBI statistics and the Department of Justice revealed that there was an increase of white people killing each other. And the white conservatives, they're not talking about that in the media. Neither is there bought and paid for Negroes who've been carrying water for them. Somebody talk black to me. The phone lines is on. It's area code 516-418-5867. 516-418-5867. Oh yeah, we're ready now. Let's listen and complete what DL Hughley said here. Proud Boys and Boys in the Hood. Oh my God! You see, he's trying. He's see DL Hughley and Ice Cube did respond to DL Hughley. See, DL Hughley is trying to see. He got that old mentality. He got that old mentality. You can put DL Hughley into the category of the civil rights generation. You can put DL Hughley in the same category of the civil rights generation. And then you have little strappy, furious fans call for cancel Ice Cube following Donald Trump meeting. Ice Cube, of course, give the middle finger to DL Hughley. But folks, let's talk about this. Okay. Mm, absolutely. Right. How is he not? Okay, so we already heard that. We already heard that, ladies and gentlemen. So DL Foley, come on, come on, really? We're at the top of the hour. 516-418-5867. 516-418-5867. We're at the top of the hour on the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Folks, this is this is it's very fascinating that man we allow people to dictate what we're going to do in the black community. We got so many just professional white ass kisses out here. We got so many people who basically wants to basically get on team white supremacy so bad. You know, see, DL Hughley is trying to make sure that he get more shows and get more people on him. And what they're seeing, what they're doing, the reason why these black celebrities come and talk about this stuff is because they want to see the black masses poor. They want to see the black masses not have anything. Oh yeah, because they've been working with white daddy and white mommy, and they've been getting all of the tangibles and resources, and basically the average poor working black folks have not been getting nothing. That's the reason why Tyler Perry wants to spend $500,000 to for an initiative that doesn't mean a damn thing. That's the reason why LeBron James want to recruit 20,000 volunteers. You see, these are nothing burgers that we basically allow these people to play games with us, and that's the reason why white people have never promised us nothing because of these black celebrities. And down to attack a black celebrity who decide, you know what, I'm really, really going to be for my people. And now he gets attacked by D.L. Hughley, who uses his platform to talk about Republicans. Dude, I asked again, what is Joe Biden offering us? And then you make this silly ass explanation about, well, he don't have power right now. That doesn't mean nothing. He's running for the presidency. You make promise to other groups. You make promise to other groups, and you fulfill those promises. Why he cannot fulfill the promises once he get in office? DL Foley. DL Foley gets on my nerves. See, like I said, he's a part of this older black civil rights generation who is looking for something from white daddy and white mommy. And like I said, when we got a black celebrity like Ice Cube going to sit down, not with Trump, but sit down with people of his administration, oh, now it's a problem. Marcus Garvey taught us, people, that we basically will disagree with Republicans. We already know that they don't give a damn about black folks. But you still meet with what? With your enemy so that there can be a negotiation. And D.L. Hughley is using his radio platform so that he can get more people, more advertisers, and more money. Roly Poly Martin, same thing. These people want to be a part of the conversation because they don't want they just like their white paymasters. They don't believe that black folks need anything here. But let's go ahead and let's look at let's get area code 504. You're live with Lawyer Henderson. What is your name and where you calling from? Speak up for me, brother. What's up? Where you say you from? From New Orleans. Okay. Man, what do you have to say about this issue here, man, about them attacking our brother Ice Cube? Go ahead. What say you? Mhm. Right. Right. But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, fam. Here's the thing. We've been conditioned to allow people to tell us when we should get mad. And here come the black celebrity talking this crap about it's you need to meet with experts. Yeah, I agree that we need to have experts, but Ice Cube basically came to the grassroots. And he said, "Oh, we're not talking about no minorities, no people of color." That's what Dr. Claude Anderson says. Yes, we gotta remove away from these broad and ambiguous uh, situations, man. We gotta stop allowing these people to use their benign neglect to basically deny us things. We built this country, and we're not getting anything in return for our vote here. Why they want black people to vote? Why do they want us to vote while everybody else is getting tangibles? Nobody can help that make. I mean, can that, can you explain why they want black folks to just stay poor? I don't understand. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Okay. Well, brother, I think Ice Cube has just been seeing like he helped his own people. He basically is looking at this COVID-19. He looking at people losing their jobs. Man, it's getting out of hand, man. It's just getting out of hand. But thank you for your call. I got to go to another call here. Do call in again. We're going to be on tomorrow talking about Amy Barrett, the Supreme Court nominee. So please call in and fill us in on your situation on that. But thank you for your call, brother. Appreciate your call in. Thank you. All right, let's get area code 612. You're live with Lawyer Henderson. What is your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, sir. My name is Dave. I'm calling.
You're calling from where? Speak up, brother. You said Memphis. And what's your name?
David.
Davis. You said Davis?
No, David.
Oh, David. I'm sorry. All right. So David from Memphis. What's going on? What's your thoughts here?
Yes, sir. I think what we're seeing in a lot of great point is that a lot of these people, what they're really saying is that their loyalties are not with black people, but with the Democratic Party.
Okay.
So meaning by that, they are looking to further that agenda, even if it's at the expense of their own people. I'll give you an example, right?
Okay.
Trump and the Republicans for years now been talking about school choice.
Right.
When I looked into the policy, I thought this is actually a great policy. And anyone who hasn't looked into it, I recommend checking it out. But I think, especially for the black community, I think it's extremely beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at some of the supposed leaders that we have, when we look at them and you try to see why they're critical of school choice,
absolutely,
they don't even make a legitimate argument. Then you find out that the reason that they're against it is because the Democratic Party is against it. Then I went to look into why would the Democratic Party oppose school choice, especially when it benefits, lower income families more than anybody else, especially black families in their city. And I found out the reason they oppose it is because they get millions of dollars every year from the teachers union.
Absolutely.
The teachers unions feel threatened by school choice because they know if given the option, most parents will take their kids out of a public school and rather have the government pay for a private tuition to go to a private school or charter school of their choice. And they're afraid of that because of that they know they're going to lose money. So literally the party is putting their own agenda ahead of what would benefit us. And these people take their orders from the Democratic Party, parrot that, and try to convince us, we should oppose school choice just because they can't control the Republicans. I think that's idiotic. I think the smart thing to do is to play both sides against one another.
Absolutely.
So for example, when Trump had criminal justice reform was the first step back, or when they did the whole opportunity zones, get by the HBCUs, things of that nature, instead of trying to dismiss it, like Roland Martin trying to discredit it, we should take that, turn that around to the Democrats and say, okay, Trump put this down, what do you think to top that?
Right.
And use it as leverage to pressure the Democrats to say, now you guys start putting more stuff on the table. If the Republicans, who you guys talk about so badly, are willing to put this on the table, you got to top that now. Otherwise, we'll go to that side. Because if you notice, the Latinos do that. The Latinos, their vote is pretty split, like 40, 70, 30% on one year. And the Democrats are bending over backwards trying to get them all counterparts.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Trying to legalize every single immigrant in the country.
Sure.
Because they're worried that the Latino vote, they could lose the Latino vote. But because they're not worried about our vote, like you said earlier, they take us for granted. They don't care. They throw us crumbs just to appease us. And they just move on and they wait after 4 years. They come back talking about they like hot sauce and fried chicken and
yeah, like
they care about it.
Yeah, like Hillary Clinton. I keep hot sauce. Yeah.
Most people aren't even aware of the stuff that the Republicans even did.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, you don't know this because they're not telling you that. They want you to keep the dark and think that nothing's going on. But go ahead, brother. You gonna say something?
Go ahead. Hello?
Sorry, I heard you were gonna say, but I didn't want to stop you.
Okay, no, I was going to ask you. Okay. So, what do you think about Joe Biden's Lift Every Voice plan?
To be honest, I I wasn't that impressed. I mean, I look at it and it's like, I don't know. I mean, do you buy it? I look at it no different than what I've heard from the Democrats for the last 40 years. I don't really see anything special about it. What do you think?
Well, I think it's almost the same as Trump. I see. This is what they want to do. They want to trot out loans to us. Okay, and I think what we have seen where is that all we've been given is jobs. Now, who are going to make these banks? Who's going to twist these banks' arms and make them give us loans, in which we put so much money foolishly in these banks? And basically now they said, well, we'll give you a loan for a business or we'll put money into the black community. For instance, we got Trump with the $500 billion plan. Okay, but he said that these are loans. Okay, what bank is going to give black folks loan that has been redlining us already with the money they have not been giving us? Let me ask you, did you get any of this money from the paid programs that Trump had initiated? Did you benefit at all from these programs since COVID hit?
Yeah, you're referring to the CARES Act, the stimulus relief.
Right. Did you benefit from that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we got a situation where we have been getting certain types of things. Okay, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that it's just not enough to just give us loans. I'm in agreement for us to get reparations. You may not agree with that. I know my other conservative caller, he doesn't agree with that because he said that slavery was legal because the United States was a territory. That's not the point. It was a crime against humanity, in my opinion. But I see both of these political parties, they basically don't understand that black people, we're moving away from people trying to shame us just because we don't want to go out and vote, and people do not have anything on the table to offer us. What say you about where we go from here, as far as your point of view, as to how we deal with our issues despite voting?
Okay, so when it comes to black history in particular, you got to kind of have there's two parallel lines of issues you got to look at. You got in-house cultural issues, and then you got what you've been talking about, at large national issues have to deal with the government and so forth.
Okay.
So the two lines have gone in opposite directions, right?
Uh-huh.
If you look at the cultural aspect, the in-house aspect,
Yeah.
if you map it out, let's say you start from 1865 and you come to today,
Uh-huh.
and let's say you had a graph, you had a line, and what kind of a culture we had as far as strong families, men being in being in a leadership position, having a moral sort of way of doing things, how we treated one another, how we looked out for each other, how we did business, more in-house versus putting, like you mentioned, which I agree with, giving money to banks that I don't have our people's interests in mind, or doing business with people who aren't us, giving money away to other people and stuff of that nature. We were much better in the past, even under a much more oppressive time. I'm sure you agree with that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, during segregation, we had more stuff.
And so, yes, sir. So since then, there's been a steady decline in that. Families have been breaking down. Men are no longer in a position of authority like they used to be. And through that breakdown, all these other things are sort of, I call that the root cause. These other things are sort of the branches that came out, which is the increase in crime, increase in, young men not stepping up, not taking care of their responsibilities, people making bad decisions, all these things. It all came from that. Now, from the governmental standpoint, obviously, when we were in 1865 now, it's improved to certain degrees depending on how you may feel. But the question comes down to, as an individual, what opportunities do you have available to you now that you can access to take advantage of? I'm not talking about the collective, I'm talking about the individual level. And I would say, from an individual standpoint, there are opportunities if you're willing to apply yourself to try to make it happen. Absolutely. Now, depending on where your starting point is, it could be hard, right?
All right.
Like, you may come from a broken family, maybe your parents, they may not been in a good situation, or you may came from a good family, both your parents, they may have a little bit of money, or at the very least, as long as your parents talk to you, that alone is a benefit. It doesn't always have to be financial. got an opportunity to make it in America. I mean, at the end of the day, you are living in America. I mean, I'd rather live here than in most of the world. So you got to have that context. I feel like sometimes people can forget about that and lose sight of the fact that while when people stepped prior to give us everything we wanted, they did make a lot. People made a lot of sacrifices and fought very hard to give us better opportunities that we have today, which has utilized. And a lot of it comes out of knowledge. So, for example, when I mentor some of these other guys that go to the high school I used to go to, and reach out to the teachers and principals who want to find kids that are about to drop out or delinquent, or they can tell that they're not doing things. When I sit down and talk with them, me, my friends, or my colleagues, we always use an analogy. We give them a story, right? We always tell them, imagine if you had a friend who played Madden or 2K, and they went home and they started playing the game, but they didn't know any of the controls, they didn't know the rules, they didn't know any of the game at all, and they kept losing. Then that friend who came to you and told you, man, this game is rigged, it's set up for me to fail, nothing I can do, everything I tried, no matter what, it's set up for me to lose, nothing I can do. And I always ask them, what would you tell that kid? They always tell me the same answer. Either give him the manual so he can learn how to play the game, or teach him how to play the game, or connect him with somebody who knows how to so that they can learn how to do it. And I tell them that's what it's like in America right now.
Right.
A lot of people that don't know how to operate, don't know the rules, don't know the strategy, have been convinced themselves it's set up for them to fail. But in reality, a lot of it is just a lack of knowledge and understanding and information. And when you give a lot of these young guys, I've seen it personally, when you give these young guys the information and understanding, and you show them that there's a pathway you can actually go, I literally see the light bulb go off, and I've seen these guys just go off. Because a lot of these guys, they have the mental skills, they have the the ability, the drive, the ambition, the entrepreneurial spirit. They just don't know how to put it into motion, right? So that's why a lot of them end up going into crimes and drug dealing, because that's the only path they can see. When they see there's an actual real path to take, a lot of them they excel. And I've seen guys from some terrible situations become really successful. And so I think from our people's standpoint, that's why I want school choice so badly. Because I think school choice will do a great job of getting our young men and women out of these failed government schools which don't teach them any financial literacy training, that don't give them vocational training, that don't really teach them about what real life is like, how to manage your money, how to manage bank accounts, what it means to be responsible, how to operate in this world. They don't teach any of that. And so if they can go to charter schools that are run by our people, who can teach them real life tools and actually put them in a position to be able to know how the world works, how to operate, how to make money, how to develop your credit, how to invest, what to do, how to save your money, no matter what level that you can do that. I just think that could change the game. And I think that's the key, because while I would love for reparations to happen, with all due respect, brother, I just don't see that ever happening.
Wow.
I don't think America as a country would ever go along with that. It'd be great if they did, but I don't see them doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're running short on time. I appreciate your call, and do call in tomorrow and chop it up with me tomorrow. As I told you, we're going to be talking about Amy Coney Barrett tomorrow, about her having her black kids from Haiti. So you'll probably want to tune in for that. But brother, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So guys, let me just talk with y'all before, because we almost running out of time. But Ice Cube contract with Black America, he basically said, let's say for instance, on his bill to guarantee Black opportunities and representation, adopt a plan of neo-reconstruction to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on Black American economically throughout many generations that has resulted in a wealth gap where the average white family has 10 times the wealth of Black family. And the addition to some of the economic initiatives listed below, also formally apologize to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. Additionally, Black opportunities and representation will include affirmative action, school, public and private, per student funding in states on equal basics instead of pay and local property taxes, Black representation on all government civil rights bodies, civil rights classes, mandatory in elementary school, gender mandating from additional polling places in Black and minority neighborhoods Juneteenth because of federal holiday. Now, This is the reason why D.L. Hughley do have a point. Okay. Now, like I said, both of the brothers are right and both of the brothers are wrong. Okay. Ice Cube is wrong because he looked at the ideal of Antonio Moore and other people, and they start to change. See everybody coming towards him and changing his mind as to what will be appropriate and what's not. You see, we're done with civil rights as well. Okay, we're done with that on a grassroots level. Um, we know that white people have 10 times our wealth, but the only way to close that is reparations. Okay, um, he talks there about affirmative action. You know that went to white women. Public and private per student funding in states on equal basis instead of paid by local property taxes. We know that school choice, as the last caller has basically pointed out, which is a great plan for us, school choice. But we have to get rid of the civil rights crap. Okay, what is civil? Where do civil stay? Dr. Claude Anderson teaches us that civil is not a person. It's not a person. It's an ideal that the white media never goes into. That's the reason why black folks never get anything done because the word civil itself is broad. He also talks there, Ice Cube, in his contract, bank lending reform. Bank lending will be regulated to require banks to lend a percentage of all loans and credit categories on an equal basis to the black population each bank serves. However, the minimum threshold must yearly meet the percentage equal to the national black population. Currently, approximately 13.4% rate of black loans federally and from banks will be the same average rates as whites. Now, he's talking there about the equality of the percentage as to how, your interest rates are. White people, of course, get better interest rates. They get approved for loans much higher than black folks. So he's talking about that, which I agree. But then he wrote something in that Antonio Moore, which I disagree with Antonio Moore on, and that Senator Cory Booker basically advocated for, and that's federally funding of baby bonds. And past federal program provided every child with government funding trust accounts at birth, starting with 1,000 contribution. As proposed by Senator Booker and Representative Presley, accounts to be managed by the Treasury and only those born into lower wealth families would receive more contribution each year up to 46,500 total. At age 18, access to the funds allowed but used to restrict the access enhancing actions such as buying a home, starting businesses, and funding education. Now, here's the thing. If we got our reparations, none of this stuff that he's talking about we would need. Okay, white people, as the caller said, I agree. They don't want to admit that they have stolen land. They don't want to admit that they owe us reparations, and therefore we have waited so long to basically talk to them about it. Our parents played dumb with them, and our dear mother, rest her soul, Frances Cress Welsing, she taught us. She taught us that black people play dumb and white folks play dumb because black folks play dumb. We have to be able to understand that these types of issues are not going to help us unless we get full reparations. So the people who've been working with Cube, they basically, everybody's in his face saying, let's do the wrong thing, let's do this and let's do that, let's do it this way. And that's the reason why D.L. Hughley do have a point to a certain extent when he talks about bringing the experts in as far as our repertorial payments, like Dr. Claude Anderson. We don't have enough time to go through all of this. I know he said something about judicial reform. We'll be talking about that tomorrow when we talk about the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. But I just want to highlight that he says that eliminate mandatory minimum and three strikes laws, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, reform through stricter guidelines and a greater oversight of police departments. The Department of Justice can be sued for noncompliance, lynching to become a federal hate crime, and Ku Klux Klan declared a terrorist organization. And we said earlier, the Ku Klux Klan is really not existent no more. They got other groups out here that basically that they have formed, and so that will not, benefit. See, we as Black people, we're dealing with white supremacy everywhere, and the KKK is not the only organization. You see, what I'm saying, but we'll go into some more of this stuff at the beginning of our show tomorrow, so that we can have a list of going through that. Remember, last 3 weeks ago, he basically had changed some language into his contract with Black America that I'm seeing that is different. So every time he's getting criticized, people are basically coming up with certain types of ways to try to derail his plan. And I looked at, like I said, D.L. Hughley's plan, D.L. Hughley's criticism of Cube. And basically, like I said, he has a little bit of things that he can say about this plan that really is not helping us, because folks are going back and forth with certain types of things, because white people don't believe we deserve anything. And we have to understand that that's our first problem. Like when Ice Cube go on CNN, talk to Chris Cuomo, you know, that's an issue, because that issue means that Chris Cuomo, the white media has it that we have to basically say, do everything that they want us to do. They give us permission to say, hey, we're going to vote for the Democrats, and nigga, that's who you're going to vote for. You're going to keep on until we say, no, 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 no. We're not taking lectures from nobody no more. See, that's what our parents' generation did. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow on the Lawyer Henderson Show. We'll stay here to wrap up a little bit. Okay, so we have ended our show, but we're going to... Okay, so we have ended our... Okay, fam, so we have ended our podcast. That will be available online at Blog Talk Radio /Cinema City Pictures, Lawyer Henderson Show. We'll have that ready for you in just a moment, but we're going to continue our live here on YouTube, so you won't be able to call in right now. But I wanted to talk finally about some stuff that we know about the Cube's contract with Black America, that I wanted to talk with y'all about, and that's the AGP program for education and jobs. Adoption of the AJP, a public-private program that provides access to jobs and education and our training for people willing to put in the work and the commitment. And so here's the thing. The people, he also says FCC licensing in public airwaves, broadcast networks will be required to air Black produced content equal to 20% of total content on networks as measured by time. But now he doesn't mention reparations, because everybody have been in his dome saying, oh, you got to get rid of reparations. You got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of reparations. I don't even think in his first plan, before he, that he had 3 weeks ago that I went over, I don't think that he had the reparations talk in his plan, Q. So the thing about this is that Black folks want reparations. You may disagree that white folks would never agree on giving that to us, but that's what we're asking for. You see, we don't need the white media to dictate Let me cut this phone thing off because they're getting on my nerves here. We don't need the white media to dictate to us, fam, about who we should be advocating for. We don't need that. We're done with that. That's our parents' generation. Okay? And I basically think that we should be able to, vote for whoever we want to, and we have to hear both parties out. We're done with the civil rights generation's ideal of, oh, we just vote Democrat, 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 Democrat. No, we're going to have those supporting Republicans if they have a good plan, and those supporting the Democrats. We are waking up to the Democrats and their plantation bootlicks and their plantation mammies. Somebody talk black to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the issue here, is that reparations will take care of all of this, fam. Reparations will take care of all of this. And we don't need the white media. See, people are not listening to the white media because the white media is wrong on a lot of things. The white media is wrong on the ideal of thinking that they will be here is telling us who we should support and vote for. No, no. We basically are done with that. You're not going to sit up here and tell us and shame us just because we decided that we're going to vote for somebody who may give us something. And so we have to get away from that, fam. That's our problem. We continue to allow people to dictate. See, they go to other people and other races and other groups and say, "Oh, this is what. Tell us what y'all want." They go to Jews and they say, "Tell us what y'all want." They go to Hispanics, "Tell us what you want." They go to Asians, "Tell us what you want." They go to gays and transsexual bathrooms and all of that crap. Tell us what you want. As soon as they get to black folks, well, you niggas got to vote Democrat, and we're gonna continue to give you jobs. No, fam. As Ice Cube pointed out, the wealth gap is 10-1. White people got more wealth than us, and by the year 2053, black folks are going to be back in poverty. See, white people was able to steal all of the land that they have, and they were also given. Well, first they were given land from the government, and then they actually just started saying, "This is my land, that's my land," and then they spread it out years later and go into other people's country like Africa and say that this is my land, in which they stole it. At one point, I'm gonna do a commentary on Rhodesia, which is Zimbabwe, where we can talk about how when Rhodesia basically had taken over, the whites in West Africa and other parts of Africa, where they took over the land of Zimbabwe, how they just went and stole land. White people are known to steal stuff, and then they're talking already about giving them reparations. No, you stole land. White people, as Farrakhan pointed out, is not native anywhere. They have to go and just lie and manipulate and deceive and steal land and enslave. See, well, our problem in our job is that we're too nice as black folks. Oh, we'll fight each other. We'll fight each other with a heartbeat. But we won't fight our oppressors. You understand? So, ladies and gentlemen, again, join me tomorrow when we're going to talk about this Supreme Court nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett. We're going to break down what the circuit courts are trying to do now. We're going to, and I got a book coming out about the circuit court. We'll also discuss that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Lawyer Henderson. I am your brother. I am your host to be reckoned with. I am your friend to the end. Enjoy. Thanks for listening.